Hey y'all, if you follow the channel, you might recognize this XR200R from a video I made a couple of, well, I guess it was probably just last month. It wasn't running right, it kept stalling. There was a broken O-ring in the carbs and the mix screw was set wrong. So we got that sorted out and it was running right. It did make a little bit of top end noise, and I had wanted to check the valve clearances at the time, but when the friend brought it over, he actually wrote it over so it wasn't cold. So I've got it back in the garage, and there's a few things that I want to try and take care of on it. I am going to check the cam chain tensioner. Those things are known to get stuck. I'm hoping that's all the top end noise that I'm hearing is. I'm going to look at the front brake. I wanted to do that last time, never got around to it because it just doesn't work very well. So we'll try and clean that up, maybe scuff sand it. He got a license plate for it. They gave him a plate for it, even though it doesn't have signals, and he doesn't want any holes in the fender. So I've got an idea for how we can fab up a license plate bracket for it. So I'm going to do that too, and then obviously the valve clearances. So that's what I'm working on today. So the exhaust clearance is going to be easy enough to reach, but the intake is a little bit buried back there. And right now I'm trying to decide if it's going to be easier in the long run to just get the fuel tank off, and maybe that'll make it a little easier to reach, rather than trying to reach around everything. I think that's what I'm going to do. The other thing I'm going to do, just to make this a little easier and give me a little bit more clearance, so there is my valve cap. I'm going to take this bolt out, which holds my spark plug way. That'll get this out of the way. If you have ever had to deal with these kinds of screws where it's a wide slot, if they're tight, if you just try and put a straight slot screwdriver in there or something, it just doesn't work very well, even if you've got a wider screwdriver than that one. But so a trick that I've come up with over the years is to get a washer that's a snug fit. You want to get the radius kind of as tight as possible. And then you can grab it with a crescent wrench and give it a turn. So I've got that one there and this one here. There's that one. Now this one's being a little more stubborn, or that washer just isn't strong enough, so I am going to resort to impact. So I didn't really explain what these were for. I just kind of assumed everybody knew, but I should probably just throw it out there in case you don't. This cover is so you can access the end of the crankshaft and get a socket on it to rotate the crankshaft. And this one is so you can see the timing mark as it comes around to know when you're at top dead center. And I'll try and get a picture of both of those to throw up alongside this. To check the valves, we need to rotate the crankshaft into the correct position. So that's going to mean a 12mm bolt at the end of the nut on the crankshaft. You want to turn the motor in the order or the direction of operation. And as we spin it around, you won't be able to see this in the way it's framed, but I can watch the exhaust valve open and close. you can see it right there. That's the valve being pushed down to open the valve. And that's it coming back up. There's the intake opening. And closing. And then after that closes, the piston's going to be rising to top dead center. We can look for our timing marks. You see that? There is the line and the T. That's for top dead center. Now before that, if I back up a bit, you can see a line in F. That's for the fire. That's where the spark plugs go off. And this one doesn't want to stay at top dead center. It wants to rock just past. So I'll get something to hold it in the right spot. We'll check those clearances. We are looking for 0.08 millimeters of clearance here. Let's see where we're at. So it's hard to get the camera set up while I'm actually doing it. So you can see the lock nut here and the screw adjuster. So I checked the clearances. They were slightly bigger than they should be. So I loosened the lock nut, turned in the screw adjuster just a bit, and then retightened the lock nut. And now I have to do the intake side, which is going to be even more difficult to reach and impossible to film. So the valve clearances are all set now. The front was a little bit loose. The rear was a little bit tight. Both those things are a pain to get to. So I've got right now a weird noise if I turn the crankshaft after the valve's open. Let's see if we can hear it. So I'm hoping that sound I'm hearing is basically some slack in the cam chain. This is for the adjustment for the cam chain tensioner, and I learned a trick to free that up if it's sticking, but I don't have the right bolt for it. I have to pick up a 3mm bolt to screw into the top of it. So I'm going to try that a little bit later, probably before I let Frank know about the ticking noise, and then hopefully that clears up and I can get rid of it. In the meantime, I've got the new air filter, so I'm going to oil that up and get it in, and then I'm going to get this thing up on a stand so I can take the front wheel apart and have a look at that front brake. Just having a look at this front wheel, I think what I've got to do is disconnect the brake line first. We should just be loosening that up and getting the barrel out. Disconnecting the speedo. Then on the other side, there's a clamp plate, so those 4 bolts, and then I can undo that bolt. I don't know if these need to come all the way out or if they think they can just be loosened. So I'm going to take off the speedo cable first. Next, I'm going to break those 4 nuts free on the other side to loosen that pinch block. Okay, those are all loose, and I believe that's a 17mm for the axle. don't think I need to disconnect the brakes. I think I can just have a look at the pads and resurface this like this. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do here, because I'd like to clean these up with some brake cleaner, but I'd like to leave the grease in there as much as possible. So that means I either protect that or I take the pads off. And I think I can just, I just kind of opened them up like that and was able to get them off. I want to keep things straight. I'm going to try and clean that up as much as possible too, but I'm going to use something else on that instead of brake cleaner. So these are cleaned up, as you can see, and now I'm just going to scuff them up a little bit with some 180. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the inside of the drum. The inside of the drum here actually looked pretty good, just in case there was any glaze that was preventing it from grabbing. We're just going to knock the surface down a bit. Get this back together and hopefully things work a little bit better. Before I put it back, I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on these two pivot points. Well, cam and pivot point. Hey. The next thing I need to do is figure out how to mount a license plate to this. And so the idea I've been playing with, there are two bolts that bolt this on. So I want to reuse those, come up with a template about like this, so it can hang down like that. I think I'm going to make it just a little bit longer than this cardboard piece. And then I'm going to cut it out of this piece of aluminum and bend it into shape. And I think it should be good. All right, I've got my shape laid out on the aluminum, and I used a spring-loaded punch to start the holes where I need to drill, 2 for the license plate to mount, and 2 for to use the bolts under the underside. So I've got my shape cut out. I've deburred the edges and smoothed them out a bit. It's not perfect, not angry at it. I'm going to go ahead and drill my holes, and then I'm going to bend it where it needs to be bent, and then I'm going to take off the rest of the plastic and finish cleaning up any edges. Okay, my bracket is all done. Just gonna get those bolts off. It should sit up there just like that. So I've been playing a bit with the cam chain tensioner, and there is a spring-loaded, I'm trying to remember what you call them. There are 2 tubes that have a slash cut between them. Right now it's at top dead center. So I've been playing with the spring in there a little bit, pushing it up and down, and I've seen a video where a guy is trying to adjust it while it's running and just checking the, playing with the tension while it's running to find the quietest spot. But I've set it according to the book, so that it's, at top dead center, and it should be sort of maximum tension on the chain. I'm going to tighten this down and put the seat and gas tank back on it and try and start it and see if I'm still hearing that top end noise. If I am, I might try this move the bolt up and down while it's running trick and see if it makes any difference. Here's the part where we hope it starts as easily as it did last time I started it. Almost. As always, thanks for watching.